Welcome, It's All Bullshit, everybody, the gaming podcast where we try to discuss video games, but mostly end up discussing other shit.
Woohoo!
I'm your host, Sedge, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Lightsaber Ninja,
AKA King Kegel. That was backwards.
and Chi.
Yeah, right. AKA Chiquilla,
And we're here today to talk to you about video games and stuff.
Woo!
perhaps.
Alright, formalities aside, time for bullshit.
Okay,
Yeah,
if I'm completely honest, and just to give some transparency to the podcast listeners, both of them, me and you, I'm more pumped for today, because I feel like every time we come in fully prepared, it sucks.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with a little bit of.
Maybe we'd need more preparation, but still, this will be fun.
It's fine, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Literally, you can see the podcast burning behind us.
This is fun.
It keeps me warm at night.
So, I played some more of that their Spider-Man game.
Oh, good.
Just hold on. Nobody knows you've played Spider-Man yet. So you say you played more, but nobody knows you ever started.
That's fair. I
didn't
played
start
Spider-Man.
last time either.
Oh, have you, man? What's that been like?
Fucking asshole. Yeah, no, it's still good. It's still probably one of the best superhero games to have come out since the Arkham games.
Does it really live up?
I think so. I mean, it has Spider-Man 2's web swinging. It's got, like... Honestly, I think the gadget combat is way easier than the Arkham games, because it's just one singular button push.
Was it not that way on Arkham?
It was like triangle and circle to do a thing, or L1 and square, or some shit.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
In this, you do have to go into a radial menu to pick whatever gadget you want equipped, but it's just a singular button press, and he shoots out a gadget.
And gadgets is something that Insomniac does well.
Oh yeah, no, all the gadgets are super fun. Like, the shock webs are useful. I don't have all the gadgets unlocked, so I know there's like a concussion blast you can get and like a web mine. The main thing
Good.
The main thing I really like about it is that each individual suit has its own power.
Yeah.
But those powers, once you unlock the suit, aren't just tied to the suit. You can pick whatever suit you like the look of.
Yep.
And have whatever power you want, which is fantastic.
That is a neat
So
feature.
I have not played Spider-Man PS4. Go figure. But I do have a couple little details of things I've noticed. Without spoiling like story or anything. And I gotta tell you a couple details of Spider-Man PS4 that's just the coolest fucking shit. So, if you watch combat videos or if you fucking play it yourself, a lot of times Spider-Man will punch a dude off of a roof. It's just a thing that happens. And unlike Arkham City, there's no, like, invisible wall that tries to stop the guy from falling.
Yeah, no, he just plummets.
He doesn't just plummet. If you punch a dude off the roof and you go and look, after they fall a certain distance, they get webbed to the wall.
Yeah, no, I did notice that while I was playing. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. At least I'm not a
cool little detail.
At least I'm not a fucking monster.
To me, it's weird that every superhero has a no-kill rule, because some of them would just be smart enough to know that sometimes you have to kill.
I mean, but
like,
Spider-Man isn't one of them. I don't think.
I don't know. Isn't he?
I mean, like way further into the comics, some of the darker storylines, but in general, he's not. No.
Maybe Spider-Man wouldn't kill your common crook, obviously. Because as a poor kid from Queens, somehow a white kid from Queens, as a poor kid from Queens, he knows he probably gets it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least to an extent. Like, hey, you're still breaking the law, though. I'm gonna stop you.
Mhm.
But when you got full-on fucking paramilitary mercenaries coming after you, and you're still not gonna kill them, like they're trying to murder you. You're allowed to kill them. Doc Ock has escaped from the raft for the fucking 15th time. Kill him already. What are you doing?
Well, so Doc Ock actually come. You know, I don't want to spoil the game.
Don't fucking spoil anything.
Don't
I'm just
spoil it.
saying random shit. You were gonna say that Doc
That's
Ock
exactly what I did.
comes into play.
Yeah, well,
Mhm. I
Anyway.
mean, that's not really a spoiler.
yeah.
Yes, it is. He's not in any of the trailers.
Yeah, but he's the villain.
What?
I don't know who Spider-Man's like. Yeah, because obviously Batman has Joker.
Yeah.
Like,
Spider-Man
no,
has a
Venom.
rogue
Venom's
gallery.
probably his main.
No.
The top of the rogues gallery is probably Venom.
Venom, Craven, Doc Ock, and Green Goblin. That is Spider-Man's Joker, all four of them together.
Okay. I just mean like in the general.
Spider-Man doesn't have a single character that mirrors him.
Okay.
Because he's not Batman.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like
Anyway,
in the general like public's consciousness of villains of this
little
character.
details.
No one's gonna not expect Doc Ock.
Where was I? Little details in the Spider-Man game.
Hi. Okay.
You will never hit a wall and stop. You will never get tangled up by a fire escape. And even if you don't web swing, he runs pretty quick and parkours over everything. Sedge, can you attest to all this?
yeah, no, you're spot on.
Fucking amazing. That's such an amazing. Seeing the little details of the little animations, because like it depends on how you come at the fire escape. He will approach it differently each time.
Mm-hmm.
Running up a fire escape is so cool because he like webs it. He just keeps webbing as he runs. But coming from the side is even doper because he'll do like them little spins and shit. Same thing happens at the bottom of like a water tower.
Yeah, he'll throw himself through a long hallway to keep the momentum up.
Yeah. Oh my god. So I brought this one up before recording, but I got to bring it up now. Spider-Man at one point in the story makes a comment about how he doesn't want the citizens to see his 3 chest hair. And if you somehow get him shirtless, I don't know how to do that, but if you get him shirtless and you go in photo mode, you zoom in, not only is his skin surprisingly detailed, I mean pores and everything, but he has 3 chest hairs and that's it. Just 3 little hairs in the middle of his chest.
If you're so determined to find them.
It's pretty cool, but it's a cool detail.
No, it is.
Okay, and now
cool
for
might
my
not be the right word for it, but
now for my no, you know what? I got one more before I get to my absolute favorite detail about this game.
okay.
One thing that I think is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in any game, and it's so pointless. But before that, if you have a phone call and you interrupt it with like a cutscene or something, not even a cutscene, but just like going somewhere where you don't usually talk on the phone, when you come back out, he'll pick up the call like, "Oh, hey, sorry about that, I'm back."
They kind of did that in like Dead Rising as well. Like it was a little more annoying because like you'd hang up on somebody because fuck listening to the people when all I want to do is slaughter people in that game.
Yeah.
They'd pick up the phone. It's like, don't hang up on me, and then continue their conversation.
GTA 5 did something a little similar too, but it would get annoying. But whenever you crash your car or something, they'll stop talking and then they'll pick up where they were.
Yeah.
That was nice because I enjoy those conversations in GTA, but it's also irritating now that I've played the fuck out of that game, and so like, just shut up already. But anyway, but the Spider-Man one's cool. Okay, the final one. When you have a phone conversation for missions, for anything in that game, what you're doing will give you 2 different types of audio. If you are calmly walking or just perched on a ledge or anything else that's real chill and mellow, Peter will talk real chill and mellow. If you're running and web swinging and everything, he'll be all out of breath and you can hear the exasperation as he speaks. That means that they recorded their lines twice. Think how many fucking lines get recorded in a game. And Spider-Man, Yuri recorded them twice. One out of breath and one calm.
I hope he got paid for that.
I mean, it's his second time getting to voice Spider-Man. I think he's doing fine. Actually,
No, I've just heard that voicing games is like literally the worst.
Voiceovers in general seem pretty hard. But if you're interested in learning about Yuri, who voices Spider-Man in this game, and his wife, who voices Yuri, the detective, there's an episode of Talking Tunes, Rob Paulson's podcast, where he interviews them both simultaneously, and their story is very fascinating.
That seems kind of cute. So they're a married couple and they worked on the same game?
Yeah. They don't always get the same projects, but...
Oh, are you talking about Travis Willingham and Laura Bailey?
No.
Oh.
I mean, that's also another VA couple.
Because they're both also in Spider-Man.
Well, this is literally like Spider-Man's voice actor and Yuri the cop's voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that explains why they have such a good rapport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You won't always find that, but yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Spider-Man sounds dope, and you've been enjoying it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. I mean, I've been playing some other stuff this week as well, but it's slightly less interesting.
I got a question for you as somebody who plays Spider-Man.
Okay.
What kind of web swinger are you?
Elaborate.
So, having watched a bunch of people on the internet, I realized there are people who understand web swinging, people who don't. I won't say which is which, because I don't want that to influence your response, okay? But there are people who web swing knowing that it looks good, and people who web swing thinking that it's just a means to an end. And so, you either follow the arc to its peak and let go, or you let go right at the bottom of the arc to try to launch forward as fast as possible.
I do both, honestly. It depends on what I'm doing.
That's fair, but let's say you just wanted to swing from one end of New York to the other, no mission, no nothing.
I'd probably follow the arc to the top, just because Spider-Man does this really cool flip at the top of the arc.
Damn right he does. Sorry, I'm a sucker for web swinging, and I just hate when people don't do it right.
Oh my god. Why are you like this?
I'm not alone, so fuck off.
I know. Why are all you nerds like this? There you go. Happy?
Because we're glorious, glorious nerds.
That's fair. My thing is, if you're going to record yourself playing a video game and post it online, you better be able to play like somebody is watching. You better be able to play in a visually interesting way and not just like a video game player.
Yeah, see, I've always had that issue when I'm doing streaming and everything. I have a really hard time making my gameplay interesting and my commentary.
I don't know how I could ever do with commentary. I think I'd need somebody there with me to talk to.
Yeah, I feel that.
But I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm just real
Yeah.
I play for an audience every time. Even single player, I'm going to use GTA because it's literally just the last game I played, sorry. But, you know when you first steal back Michael's kid's car, and Michael pops up from the back seat?
Yeah.
So, you can press circle to get a really good cinematic camera that's like mounted on the hood, looking in at them, but it's like impossible to drive that way. I crashed so much because I will constantly switch to it because it's more interesting, even though nobody's here. And so like I constantly play in like a cinematic way or in a way that like for somebody to enjoy watching, but I totally suck at the games because of it.
What do you get out of that then?
It looks good.
Alright.
Have you ever been to a friend's house and they're playing a game and it's the most boring fucking thing in the world?
Oh god, yes. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
you
friends
wouldn't-
with Sedge.
You wouldn't
That was high school.
you wouldn't feel that way if you watched me play video games.
You say.
Trust me, I know.
Okay.
You're so funny, Chi.
That's why I'm here.
It is pretty funny. I'd like to hear more about High School Sedge. The Sedge Lord.
No. No, you wouldn't.
You know all you need to know.
You guys listen to this new MCR album?
It wasn't MCR.
It really gets my soul.
Still wasn't MCR.
And that would imply that Sedge would admit he had a soul.
Please, factually correct my joke.
Oh, I will. If you're going to jokingly insult me, you're going to do it right.
Sedge, there's no wrong way to insult you.
This is a good point.
Damn. Savage. Ass.
I've been working on my punchlines, I'm sorry.
Fuck. My soul.
Welcome, Twilight. You're here just in time.
Oh, God, it hurts. It hurts so
That
bad.
was a fun spot to enter.
Yes.
Why must you wound me
So-
like this?
Is anyone going to provide context as to why Light is trying to wound him?
Nah, we were just talking about what a loser Sedge was in high school.
Literally, that was all.
Welcome to the gaming podcast. Yeah, cinematic playing. I do it.
Cinematic playing.
I tell you, the one game you can't do that with, Fallout.
You think?
Oh, I know. It took me like 3 months before I even picked up Fallout 3 because I chose to watch my brother play instead.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not a very cinematic player, but I can usually pick up on things because I'm just used to how he plays. And that looked like the most boring, stupid game in the world. And then I got my hands on it and I was addicted for like a year.
Because Fallout 3's so good.
I don't know. I was watching a playthrough of 4
That's
that
different.
Yeah, I suppose, but I was watching a playthrough of 4 that I ended up really enjoying, and I don't know if they continued it, but
Who was doing the playthrough?
Graham from Loading Ready Run.
Ah.
Yeah.
Preemptive apologies early on here. I'm getting over a sickness. I'm sorry that I'll be coughing this entire episode.
It's fine.
Nah, you're good. I was sick for like 2 fucking weeks here.
Was it like a respiratory thing?
Yeah. Yeah, but it was like a very bad cold, but it just did not go away. And it didn't help that I just don't have any time to just like sit and rest. Like I had to force myself on one of my days off to just like, okay, no, listen, you're gonna sit in this chair and you're gonna binge watch horror movies and that's all you're gonna do today. No. I know you need to do other things. You're gonna sit here and you're gonna watch horror films and that is all you're gonna do.
Any horror film, or did you have like a list of classics or something?
I was just going through Netflix.
So you weren't even watching horror films. You were just scrolling through the horror category.
That certainly was a large part of it, no. But I did find 3 that I had been meaning to watch.
3 movies out of a whole day.
Yeah.
God, Netflix scrolling is too addictive.
Nah.
Hey, I mean, you could be me. I've watched the same movie 3 times in the same day.
Oh god, why? I mean, I've only done
No,
that
wait.
once, but
What movie?
Master and Commander.
Oh God, why?
why am I not surprised?
I was trying to pick up on things I missed the first time through. And then the second time.
That's so weird, dude. That's like somebody being like, yeah, I just kept watching Hackers over and over again to find out all the fine details.
I mean, I've done the same thing with Hunt for Red October.
I believe that.
Nerd.
You are.
I am. I've never denied this.
The only movie I've ever done that with was Ichi the Killer. And that's because I watched it once through the regular way, once through extended director's cut, and once through with commentary.
Is this all in one day?
That was all in one day, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, if you're talking about like multiple viewings, I rewatch movies all the time, and if you're talking about commentaries, like that's why I like buying physical discs.
Oh, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love buying physical discs. But yeah, commentaries are legit.
Thank God, I finally found a kindred spirit.
Listening to the commentary on Twilight, the first movie, is the
My
best
God, forever.
thing.
I was confused for a second. I was like, wait, You watched a commentary on Twilight? What? Why is
What
there a
is there to
commentary on
comment
Twilight?
Not super producer Twilight,
We're all commenting on Twilight now.
but the audio
Yeah, no.
commentary for the first Twilight movie is hilarious.
So you've heard it.
Oh yeah, that's why I
Oh
was like,
my
oh
God.
my God. I got like a cheeseburger.
What-
Robert
yeah.
Pattinson is so fucking disinterested in that. Fucking
Oh my
film.
God, yeah. And he's like, I think he's stoned like most of the time.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
think you
he
have to
he is
be
high.
literally
He is high as a kite for most of that interview.
It is. Apparently, he was also high as a kite for most of the filming.
That makes sense.
He hates that movie.
I'm a monster.
It's so beautiful. The commentary is. This should be my litmus test for like meeting new people. Is to say hi. My name is, and I've watched Twilight more than 5 times.
And I don't like.
What's weird is that
And
apparently
I
there
hate
were
it.
there were crazy fangirls that wanted Robert Patterson to drink their blood after that movie.
Oh god.
I actually okay.
No
so
wonder he fucking
my,
hates the movie.
My experience with
Yeah,
the
right.
Twilight movie literally consisted of I was on an old social media network, like
Like
It's-
MySpace?
no, like one of the lesser known ones. It was trying to be MySpace for mobile back before like phones were able to do full internet,
Okay.
and you had to have like WAP dot whatever. You know what I'm talking about? There was there was one called like WAP something, like WAP meet or some stupid shit like that. You had WAP and you had .mobi. But anyway, there was a place called Moco Space, which was MySpace for mobile. It stood for Mobile Community Space, right? And it didn't know what it wanted to be. And after MySpace fell and Facebook started growing, it really didn't know what it wanted to be. And so it just got more invasive with your privacy and less interesting as a site. But I had a friend on there, and my first introduction to Twilight was that she was a huge fan of the books, and every time they would release anything on this movie while it was in production, movie didn't come out for like another year or two, but anytime they would release any details on the movie's production, she would have like an entire blog post dedicated to like why it was terrible and why it went against the source material and how these books were just like the best thing ever, right? And I remember just one of the most petty ones I ever saw was she posted a picture of the car that Edward Cullen was going to drive in that movie, and
Okay.
then posted a picture of what the car was supposed to be from the book. And it was literally the same car company, it was just like a different model. It was like the difference between like a Ford Focus hatchback and a Ford Focus coupe. And she had like 500 words for how terrible it was.
Oh my god.
And
Ooh.
and then I finally had a chance to be introduced to the book. I never read them or anything, but I did
Don't.
have like excerpts and stuff. And my God, what terrible writing that was!
Yeah.
Like, it's just a bad book series.
Yeah. Her book The Host was like marginally better. Like she had learned like not completely elementary, but that's not nearly as bad as what's her name who wrote
Okay.
50 Shades?
E.L. James.
E.L. James. There we go.
I was gonna bring this up. I can see why E.L. James's fan fiction blew up so well, because her writing is literally identical to Stephanie Meyer's in those Twilight books.
It's a bit worse, but yeah.
It's
very
they are
much
equally terrible.
it
Well, it was a fan fiction.
it was a fan fiction, yeah. It's a very
That's what I'm saying. Like, the reason it blew up as a fan fiction and became its own thing and got to become its own series is because even though it was terrible and horrible writing, it was on par with the source material with quality.
You know, I'm not gonna argue because I haven't read either material in any like capacity to know, but
I'm being unfair here because I haven't actually sat down and read them. I just know excerpts.
yeah, I've read excerpts of it. I've also read excerpts of what was it? Ready Player One, and that was also garbage, but I'm
Oh, really?
apparently the only person that thinks so.
I trust your word on this one, but I
Really?
wonder if during this silence, because he's like, oh, it's supposed to be a game podcast. Here we are talking about Twilight and books.
No, I
I
just
wonder
have
how
nothing to say on Twilight because
I wonder
I've
how hard you're steaming over the fact that Ready Player One is garbage writing.
He doesn't think so. That's the problem.
I mean, he likes the fucking movie.
Yeah. I haven't
Sedge,
seen the
what say
movie,
you?
so I won't judge the movie, but I've read excerpts of the book and I was just like, oh.
Well, hey,
Oh.
Chi,
Yeah.
do you remember Iron Giant?
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember Back to the Future?
Yes.
Do you remember Overwatch?
Where are we going with this?
He's
No,
saying that Ready Player One, the movie, is just references the movie, which isn't entirely wrong.
No, it isn't.
It's not wrong, but at the same time, it's still a good fucking flick.
Mm-hmm.
No, Steven Spielberg died after Minority Report. No, Munich.
Jesus.
I watched
I missed something. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone. I missed it.
Steven Spielberg's dead. He's not made a good film in years. He can't capture what once made him great.
Think what you will.
That's most directors these days.
I liked Ready Player One. I thought it was a fun movie.
But we're
Cool,
talking about
dude.
the book.
I also...
Well-
I haven't finished the book, but what I've read so far, I enjoyed.
To be fair,
think, like, just the overall writing style was so, like...
don't get me started on writing style. I have a series that I enjoy, and I don't like to
Okay.
admit that I enjoy, but I have a rant about the way it's written. Ooh.
I mean, you can enjoy, like... You can enjoy it as a concept, but not like the way it's written,
Yes.
I think.
Twilight knows
And-
what I'm
and-
talking about, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, what are we talking about?
Twilight, what am I talking about? No. Pop in, talk. It's okay.
You don't have to make her.
Okay, well, you could type it then. I'm taking a break because I'm secretly rolling a cigarette and I didn't want to stop the podcast.
Oh my god, you can just say it. It's not like Sedge and I haven't been pausing our mics every, couple seconds to take a drag. It's fine.
So, I'm going to just completely 180 the topic here.
No, I gotta say this book. Hold on, what's your topic? I might be more interested in it.
It's Nintendo's online service.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man. I'm down for this.
Heck yeah!
So, Nintendo's Direct came out, what was that, late last week, early this week? Yeah. So, they announced a couple of really awesome things. Number one, the online service launches in 10 minutes.
It looks garbage.
Right, I should go buy that, right now.
Yes, you should. In fact, I'm going to be grabbing
right.
my Switch here after I finish my rant so I can activate my product code.
Oh my god, we can wait until after recording. We're not children.
It'll give me a good time to rant about my book series and stuff.
Going
So,
back to that, okay.
so they announced their online service.
Yeah.
No way.
They are bringing NES games out.
It's such bullshit. It's such fucking bullshit. They haven't announced how many titles or what titles are available.
Well-
it's cool that you get to play them, but it's literally just the original Nintendo. And even though they were days away from fucking unveiling it, and we're all about to find out, they were just like, and more secrets and surprises.
Well,
Fucking say it already.
I have a list of the launch titles here.
Yeah, but is there SNES, N64, GameCube, and Wii
No, it's
games
just
on there?
NES right now.
There should be.
It's just the NES right now.
Fucking Nintendo. It's probably not even all the games that were on the NES Mini.
Oh my god, calm down.
Well, we have Soccer, Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, Ghosts and Goblins, Excite Bike,
It's always Zelda.
Tennis Balloon Fight, Super Mario Brothers 3, Tecmo Bowl, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Ice Climber, Double Dragon Gradius, Ice Hockey, Mario Brothers, Dr. Mario, River City Ransom, Pro Wrestling, and Baseball.
That's it.
Oh.
And then releasing in October, we have Solomon's Key and NES Open Tournament Golf.
So,
Fucking stupid.
at least you'll be interested in that one.
Can't wait
fun.
to chat through my phone.
Oh yeah, fuck
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Discord chats are a thing. Nintendo, you've done fucked up.
You know what? It's funny you would say that. I was actually looking at it, I was thinking like once I do have online and stuff, I probably would talk to you specifically through my phone anyway because of Discord.
Exactly.
And so like it feels like Nintendo just made a Discord.
Yeah.
But like an audio only one.
They did. It's dumb. The main thing I'm psyched about has nothing to do with the online. It's literally the gimmicky Bluetooth NES controllers that they're releasing.
I cannot believe they made them able to slide into the Switch. That part cracks me up.
I want them so much.
Will you try to play a game with them?
I mean, not as the sidebar to my Switch.
You literally won't be able to.
Yeah, no.
It's really adorable that they are Joy-Cons. Just very, very odd shaped Joy-Cons.
I mean, I'm on board with it. It has the throwback feel and it's kind of cool.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. The cool thing about their service is
you
it's
what was
cheaper
cooler
than
about
every
them.
other service.
Because they're not at the same level as every other online service.
Yeah, this is also very true.
So a few years ago, Nintendo actually consulted somebody about their Nintendo Online. This was for Wii U.
Okay.
And it was Ubisoft.
Shocking.
And and Ubisoft, the guy that they were talking to, the guy's like, okay, so do you have this, and then what do you do for this service? And they fucking stared at him blankly because they had no idea what he was talking about. And so throughout the thing, he's like, you do this like Xbox Live or this like PSN or like how Xbox Live has this. And at the end, a dude came up and was like, look, it's kind of pointless for you to talk about the competitor services because literally nobody here has ever played their console.
Oh.
And so like Nintendo has a lot of good ideas, but they're coming into online blind and they refuse to learn from what's been established and they just want to try to do it on their own. And that's why their services fuck up all the time.
I mean, yeah.
It's going to be an unstable mess. Don't get me wrong. $30 a year for a family fucking pack of a bunch of profiles on a Switch that can play online. That is really cool. The parental features that you can tweak from your phone, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
But Nintendo has no idea what they're doing for infrastructure.
I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, they've always been like that. And it's kind of one of those things, as a Nintendo fan, you just come to roll with the punches.
Basically.
You know?
The bigger announcements are that RPG, the town from Game Freak, or Pokemon Company, or whatever the fuck her name is now, City Skylines coming to Switch, and Luigi's Mansion 3.
That's an interesting
I did not hear Luigi's Mansion 3. I did hear City Skylines, and I'll be honest, I bought it the second I heard it was announced. Because I love City Skylines.
Surprising no one.
Oh yeah, I guess I never shared it. Huh. Yeah, I had a whole playlist of all the shit that they announced. I thought that I shared it, but I guess I didn't.
Oh, you definitely should have, because I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I've only been getting, bits and pieces from what most people in my circles of the internet have been talking about. My biggest thing that I keep getting shouted at me is Isabelle coming to
Smash Brothers. Yep.
And I am so freaking stoked because I love her. I love her so much.
Watch.
She's adorable, and I'm going to kick all of the ass with her.
Oh,
and
yeah,
also
man.
the fact that, new Animal Crossing. It's only been like how many years?
Fuck Animal Crossing.
What?
You gave me this house, motherfucker. I didn't even consent to it. Why do I gotta pay you?
Who cares? That's not the point. No, Animal Crossing
I just could never get into it.
No. See, that's Animal Crossing is the first and only life sim game, one of those that I've ever actually got any investment in. I really wanted to Harvest Moon, I really wanted to Stardew Valley. Everybody likes Stardew Valley, but somehow I just couldn't get into the rhythm of them, and Animal Crossing just somehow happened to fit for me.
That's the game that I can't get in the rhythm of.
See, I remember when Animal Crossing launched, the one for the 3DS, when New Leaf launched.
Yeah.
I was working at GameStop at the time, and we all literally had our fucking 3DSs out, while there weren't any customers in. the store, we all had our 3DSs out. Like, hey, do you have this? Hey, come to my town and give me whatever fruit you have.
I mean, and now that's Stardew Valley, isn't it?
I mean, to a point.
Or
I had Animal Crossing on DS, and I played
Oh.
for a total of 4 hours before I realized that I was just hating everything about my life.
oh,
And I never played another Animal Crossing. I never will, because it's just not my type of game.
I mean,
oh.
Animal Crossing has one fatal flaw for me.
Okay.
It's trash.
No. You literally, like, run out of things to do after, like, 10 minutes of playing the game.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
Because you've done, like, you know...
All of the day's activities.
Yeah,
basically.
you found all the
collected all
fossils.
fruit.
You've-
You found all the fossils. You collected all the fruit. You fished. You
Banged your head
caught
up
your
against the
insects
wall.
for the day. Found
You
them
got insulted by random fucking neighbors.
accosted by all of your friends. You picked all the
Everybody's
weeds
got,
in
like, this
everybody's
underlying-
yards.
Yep.
Isabel made eyes at you that you were kind of uncomfortable with, but
Other to its
also
fullest.
very intrigued by.
Okay.
And then the game's over. Or was that just me?
No, you're right.
Plus, those games are dark
And
as fuck.
Isabella's
Dude.
waifu. A little bit.
I mean, you're a child, and okay, it's
You're not
like
a
you've
child.
been your child, and
You're a chibi. There's a difference.
your child, and you get
Continue.
kidnapped and brought to like this fucking purgatory Barney type world where you're forced to constantly do manual labor and stuff. Like, I don't know what you did in your previous life. I don't know what kind of kid you were, but it's a serious punishment. Like,
Okay.
you're constantly in debt, and
Okay.
it's a dark fucking series about
You're
kidnapping.
taking this so seriously.
It's brainwashing you.
I don't know.
into-
You're right that
into
you're right,
being
Sedge,
part
that
of the cult.
it did run out of things after a certain amount of time. But that was also part of the thing I liked about it, I think, was just like it was calm and relaxing and soothing, something to pick up, put down.
Right. And that's what I really like about...
kind of like those Alto games I keep sharing that neither of you have actually played.
Like the what?
Nothing.
What, like the city builder?
No, Alto. Alto's Adventure and Alto's Odyssey.
I don't even remember you sharing this.
Of course not.
Oh, sorry.
But
Maybe
no,
it's mobile.
so that's why that reason is actually the same reason I like Stardew Valley, is because Stardew Valley doesn't take place in real fucking time. Like, I think that's Animal Crossing's biggest downfall, is that it takes place in real time.
That's a good one, yeah.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can play it, like, in the morning, so you'll get all the morning stuff that happens. Because there's certain fish that don't come out until the night. There's certain fish that don't come out until, like, noon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in reality, you can boot up that game for about 30 minutes 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But Stardew Valley, it is Harvest Moon. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Which, I dig Harvest Moon.
What's up with y'all in farming, man?
I don't like farming.
Look, man, I definitely don't have Farming Simulator on my Switch. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
And on my
Just
computer.
a fucking
Oh
farmer.
my god. You have multiple on your computer.
No, actually, wait,
Correct
do
me if I'm
I?
wrong. Don't you have a balcony?
Yes.
Yes?
So grow a garden of fresh herbs.
The problem is, I have the black thumb. Any plant I touch dies.
If you're doing it in a computer game, it's not actually like you're doing it in real life.
No, it's worse. Pretending.
Hey, no. So, I play a lot of those simulator games. And I'm not...
You play a lot of those simulators.
And I'm not talking about, like, my combat simulators, like War Thunder or Microsoft Combat Flight Simulator. I'm talking, like, I play Euro Truck Simulator and Mechanic Simulator and Farming Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to know why?
You're a nerd.
No, because they're really nice for when I don't want to play, like, a high-octane shooter, and all I want to do is just veg out for, like, an hour and a half and listen to a podcast.
That's how I play all my games.
I can't play all my games like that.
I can't play Fortnite or Call of Duty or Battlefield while listening
I
to a
don't mean,
podcast.
like, online shooters. It's not like the only fucking games that exist are boring simulators and online shooter.
No, there's also JRPGs.
No, you can play. You can get a good single player game. Literally every game is an open world sandbox now. You can just walk around and explore those worlds and see the details and stuff.
That's fair. I mean, Zelda's basically the...
Oh my god, you got Zelda. Fuck off. Throw that bitch on mute, play, and listen to podcasts. I cannot believe that. I'm sitting here running through all the fucking games I got, trying to think of which ones would be good that's not just me constantly talking about a game from 2013. And you got Zelda.
I'm so confused. Why are you mad?
Because this motherfucker's got Zelda, and he's like, oh, I gotta play fucking Euro Truck
I
Simulator.
never said I gotta. I just said I do.
You know the crazy shit you can do in Zelda? You can throw a rusty sword into a fucking rock monster's mouth and get it spit out clean and shiny and sharpened.
Kegel, I think you're forgetting one simple fact. Sedge is boring. He needs to play simulators.
Yeah, okay,
Just
either way.
let him.
No, that's fair. I'm so sorry for my little outburst there. You're right.
Thank you.
Fuck both of you.
Y'all want to hear my book rant? Because I got another book I want to bring up that I think Sedge would actually be interested in.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay, so first my rant, all right? The Hunger Games.
Oh.
All right. Because we don't have many listeners, because we've not made it or anything, I feel comfortable saying this out loud on a public space. I like The Hunger Games.
Okay.
Both. When I finished the second movie, I was like, holy shit, what a cool series to set up a revolution, a political revolution in a country. Like, very interesting. Kind of curious about this world. Because it seems like it's a post-apocalyptic global warming society. Like, most of the coasts are gone. The reason that the capital was in the Rocky Mountains, like Colorado and shit, because that's natural defense. And District 12 is like West Virginia, Pennsylvania area, because it's all coal.
Yeah.
And they gotta dig extra further down because we've already mined all the coal. But anyway, real cool series. Eventually, whenever Mockingjay Part 1 came out, I was a little confused. And my partner's like, you gotta read the books, you gotta read the books. I'm like, look, I'm not reading them stupid girly books. I don't care about your stupid girly series, even though I really enjoyed it. And finally one day I snuck and I grabbed the books and I read them. Okay? And they're pretty good, and they fill in so many extra details that you don't know. But I like some of the approaches that the movie takes. Like, the book is a first-person account through Katniss's eyes, whereas the movies take an omniscient point of view, so you get to actually see like the president plotting and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, she writes the entire series in the present tense and ends every chapter on a fucking cliffhanger.
Oh God.
And I hate it. I hate it to
No,
death.
that sounds
I hate everything. Like, the cliffhanger thing is just an artificial way to get you to want to keep turning the page.
Yeah.
It's like you're artificially making sure your reviews say a real page turner. And the present tense thing is it's just my personal opinion, but it drives me fucking nuts. I hate it. Why do you write in the present tense? What does that serve?
Present tense is a very strange way to write.
It's the weirdest fucking way to write a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it.
I mean, I think present tense is very good for short stories, but full-length novel and especially a series.
Okay. Real example from the book. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Hunger Games, the first one, the first book.
Okay.
Whenever they come to the Capitol and they're doing their little TV stint with Caesar, whatever his face is, Stanley Tucci, his character.
Okay.
All right. I'm coming back into focus when Caesar asks him if he has a girlfriend back home. Peeta hesitates, then gives an unconvincing shake of his head. Handsome lad like you, there must be some special girl. Come on, what's her name? Says Caesar. Peeta sighs. Well, there is this one girl. I've had a crush on her ever since I can remember, but I'm pretty sure she didn't know I was alive until the reaping. Sounds of sympathy from the crowd. Unrequited love they can relate to. She have another fellow? Asks Caesar. I don't know, but a lot of boys like her, says Peeta. So here's what you do. You win, you go home. She can't turn you down then, eh? Says Caesar encouragingly. Why is it all present?
Oh,
Like,
I don't know,
I
man.
came back into focus. How about that? Instead of I'm coming back into focus. Fuck you. No, you're not.
I don't know. Isn't Twilight also written in first person present?
I don't know. Never read it.
I think it is. I'm gonna go check.
It bothers the fuck out of me. I have an example to read to you from a different book. Here's first person, but it's not present tense. All right.
No. Twilight is past tense.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try 50 Shades though.
I walked over to a cushioned chair and scooped out its contents. 4 worn guitar magazines, a sketch pad, and a leather-bound King James version of the Holy Bible. As I tried to settle in, a leg broke off and the whole chair slumped over at a 30-degree angle. I leaned over nonchalantly, trying to look like that's exactly what I had expected to happen. First person, simple vocab, still very smart, and not in present tense. Learn some shit, Suzanne Collins. I don't know why I'm calling her out, but yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, and for Sedge, all right, for you.
Okay.
Have you ever read a novelization of a film?
Yes, I read the novelization of Die Another Day.
Was it any good?
No.
Oh, really? The Spider-Man movies have novelizations, and they're really, really good. For the most part, novels are usually based off of the earliest draft of the script, so that they can all come out at the same time. But I find that the films based off of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, or the books based off the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, are better than the movies. Like, those are great movies, but Spider-Man 3 we can all say sucks, right?
Yes.
Spider-Man 3, the novelization of the film, is really good. Like, I read it and I was suddenly so excited to see that film.
I'm so sorry.
Well, I actually convinced myself that I liked that movie for a very long time because of that. Because I knew, like, little detail. There were just added details to it all. But anyway, the worst novelization I've ever read, and I recommend this to everybody here. The entire book is probably 100 pages long. It is a very small book. Even with large print, it still is just the tiniest fucking novel.
Okay.
It is the novelization to Pitch Black, the first Riddick movie.
Oh my god, what?
It
I
is
love that
garbage.
movie.
There are glaring spelling and grammar errors throughout it.
Oh my
There
god.
are sentences that sometimes just stop in the middle of a word. There are nonsensically written things. Like, this book was shit out by a poor Filipino high school student who has
Oh.
English as a second language that he's still in the middle of learning.
Oh no. Oh
It
no.
is such an incredibly terrible fucking novel. Sedge, I think you'd love it.
Oh my god.
I will have to check it out at some point.
Yeah,
I-
I'm super curious.
Everybody, the fucking pirate that shit. Don't ever give money to that book. It is terrible.
I will attempt to.
Pitch Black.
Also, so I finished finding excerpts of 50 Shades. Sedge, am I allowed to read them?
Yes. Forget what he
No.
says. Yes, you can.
Oh my god.
Please, God, no.
They're so bad. Well, because we were talking about the writing style, first person, present, whatever, and junk, and I needed to check because I've been watching a YouTuber named Folding Ideas and his reviews of the movies and the book. They're amazing. He's amazing, and he's been bringing up excerpts from the book, and I needed to make sure because I thought I remembered it being this bad, and oh my god, so it is first person present, and it's just awful. Not only is it first person present, but it also includes her inner monologuing, like in italics, like the most juvenile writing style you can possibly imagine.
Absolutely.
Anyway, no, I'm not gonna read it. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, just one really bad one.
Why don't you read excerpts from those other stories that you're supposed to read?
No, Twilight, I am not reading that.
What?
We had discovered some of the most terrible sex stories written.
Oh, lovely.
It's all amateur stuff.
Even worse than 50 Shades.
Oh no,
It's like
no.
I
it's like
actually.
written by aliens who don't know how humans work.
That's amazing.
It's
No,
worse
at
than 50 Shades.
at Morgan's bachelorette party, we were just alone in this cabin up in, northern Wisconsin, just huddled around a laptop, reading the most garbage Yu-Gi-Oh fan fiction that has ever existed.
Oh god.
Like, I don't know what bachelorette parties are supposed to be, but that's what we did, and it was amazing.
I mean, it sounds like fun.
God, the super broken Japanese, the self-cessed.
It
was beautiful.
Talking of novel adaptations that can be better than their source material sometimes.
Okay.
But trying to tie back to our original topic of games, because it's always weird to me when Sedge just like goes quiet with nothing to say. The Metal Gear Solid digital graphic novels, specifically Metal Gear Solid 2, I think tells a more coherent story
Than the games?
than the game Metal Gear Solid 2.
That's not surprising considering the fucking story of Metal Gear is goddamn, like, is one of the densest video game stories ever.
I mean, isn't the idea that they're like super incomprehensible? This is out of my territory. Please continue, enlighten me.
Well, actually, then by all means, pick up those novels. The problem with Metal Gear is that Kojima doesn't know how to exposit without just dumping exposition. Metal Gear Solid 2, the only thing about Metal Gear Solid 2, I think that the story's fine. And Sedge, you can tell me if you agree or disagree, but I think that if you play through the games, it makes sense. Like, if you're really playing and you're really following along, not saying that you always enjoy where it goes, but it doesn't feel as convoluted until you, like, try to explain it to somebody. Because then you realize how, like, twisted the narrative really is. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Metal Gear is like a soap opera with as far as twists and turns go. And then that's what keeps it. It's like a soap opera had a baby with Tom Clancy. So the reason it's confusing for most people is because everybody's lives are intertwined, but on top of that you have a bunch of fucking hardcore military jargon.
Yeah.
But Metal Gear Solid 2, the game, I think the story works better for the time that it released and for the message it was saying, because it's all about how information can be changed on the internet, how the internet can force us to believe things that may not be true, how you can literally change history and change facts just by manipulating people through the internet, which seems pretty relevant nowadays. But the problem is through that, once all that starts coming to a head, it gets so up its own ass with the philosophy it's trying to teach that Raiden's story kind of falls to the side. But the graphic novel keeps it at Raiden the whole time. I don't know how to describe it, but it starts off, the quote-unquote twist ending of Metal Gear Solid 2 feels less out of nowhere in the graphic novel than it did.
I'm gonna let you know a little secret. I couldn't finish Until Dawn 2. Or Until Dawn 2. Metal Gear 2.
I was gonna say, is there one, please?
No, there's
really
not yet.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no. So I tried to play through it when the fucking
HD collection?
Yeah, when that one came out, because I never owned it on PS2. So I tried to play through it when the HD collection came out, and it was just, I just couldn't do it.
Okay, well, here's my relationship with MGS2 and why I've never found it that hard. I was 13 years old. I had my Xbox. It was my one Christmas gift. The only games I had for it were Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and Tetris Worlds because they came with it. And my dad made a stop at CD Warehouse to pick up some music, and he saw Metal Gear Solid 2 there, and he bought it for me, and I played it forever. Look, I played Metal Gear Solid 2 so in depth for so fucking long that the tanker chapter that you start with, you know how the tanker chapter is like an hour and then you get into the meat of the game?
Yeah.
I didn't beat the tanker chapter for a week.
Huh.
Nice.
And if you play it nowadays, you'll see it's not that big.
No.
Also, it wasn't optimized to run on Xbox. I mean, it was ported over. It was the Substance version. PS2 got a Substance version as well, but they got a sweet skateboarding game in there. I didn't get that. But it wasn't optimized, so anytime you were outside in the rain on the tanker chapter, there was just this massive slowdown, and I actually thought it was part of the game. I never realized that the game was playing too slow. But there's a part where you meet the president in there, because the president's being held hostage. And Raiden talks to him, and he's like, for some reason, the president gropes you and goes, "You're a man." It's the weirdest fucking moment.
Oh, that... No, there's a moment like that in Valkyria Chronicles, the first one.
What?
Yeah, no, one of your soldiers... I don't know how familiar you are with the Valkyria Chronicles series, but... It's basically like a semi-real-time, semi-tactical JRPG set in fantasy World War II.
That's a description.
Okay. And there's a soldier in your battalion, and you're the commander talking to him, and all of a sudden he's like... The text is like... accidentally brushes up against... I forget what the character's name was. It's like, wait, are you? And the character just goes, yes, now shut up.
That's so fucking weird.
Which is really weird considering there are women in your battalion.
That's assault, Mr. President. I don't think you want this.
Well,
Also,
it depends on which
what if I
president it is.
What if I wasn't? You literally just pulled a modern president. You just grabbed me by the pussy. Like, he just grips it, dude. He full palms.
Jesus.
Raiden's junk.
So, there was a thing you wanted to talk about for news-related stuff. Something that BioWare said.
Would you give me a second?
No.
Oh.
So, the president, what he does is he reveals that there's a hidden organization, basically the Illuminati. They're called the Patriots. And they run the entire government. And they picked him to be president. And
The Patriots.
Raiden goes, yeah. And the reason that the president is being held hostage is because he wanted to not just be a pawn, he wanted to be a player. And he overstepped his bounds. And the Patriots got him, only to realize that it's not the Patriots that have him, whatever, it's a big thing. Anyway, Raiden goes, but the election, that whole thing. And he goes, pretty good show, wasn't it? And I was 13, and fresh in my mind was the Florida recount from the 2000 election. And it blew my mind. And since then, I've loved the Metal Gear series.
I mean, the Metal Gear series has always been good at political commentary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of its whole thing.
It's pretty prescient, I think. Except for, you know, shamans and mysticism and vocal cord parasite.
Nanomachines.
All of that is very relevant to today's climate. I don't know what you're talking about.
Damn the Patriots for playing God.
Actually.
But anyway, I did have a news item to talk about BioWare. So, like, BioWare announced... Okay, so BioWare has a game coming out called Anthem. Don't know if you're familiar at all, Shane.
I am quite familiar.
I am not.
Anthem is like Destiny, but made by BioWare.
Okay.
And they've been saying that it's like my story, our world is how they're describing it. So like all the story missions are single player things. But then whenever you go out and do missions, it's with your friends and stuff. And it sounds good on paper, but I guess everything they've shown about it, nobody seems excited at all. And it's all because of EA's whole games as service. Well, recently, they've come out and said that the things that they've learned making the story for Anthem are going to affect the future of Mass Effect and Dragon Age. They said back in the old days, they'd release a game and the story would be contained and you would play it and then it'd be over and then you'd wait for the sequel. And now they can release a game whose story keeps evolving for months and years to come.
If they can keep the player base up.
That's fair.
Well, understand they're saying this in reference to Dragon Age and Mass Effect.
No, I get that.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, because we don't play those games. Like okay, DLC's fine, and maybe the idea that they have is that you have DLC, but when they say months and years to come, they're literally talking about taking a single player RPG and turning it into a game as service, which means that we probably won't get a whole story. We'll get some of a story that just keeps evolving and tweaking over the years and drags out. It'd be like if Mass Effect 1 took you 4 or 5 years before you finally beat Harbinger. And from all the shit that would happen to that, that's going to adversely affect the sequel anyway. And considering that most of the higher ups and the writers and designers and stuff have left BioWare, and EA is still on this games as service kick, but doesn't, like, they haven't even cracked the code of how to make a good game as service game. But they keep making all their games somehow fit the mold. And I think that's been to their detriment so far. Just all in all, it sounds like bad news for the next Mass Effect and Dragon Age. But I wanted your take on it.
No, I very much agree. And that's why I can't... Like, EA's doing the whole games as service thing for Battlefield 5. Now...
But does that mean that we don't get a Battlefield next year?
Oh, absolutely not. Battlefield usually only comes out every 2 years.
Okay. But, like, okay, if they did Battlefield 5 as a game of service, what I would like to see for the next Battlefield or Call of Duty, for the next Madden, for the next all sports games, is that you pay your season pass and you get a year of updates and maps and all the additions and stuff. And then the next year, you just buy another service pack. It's not another $60 or anything. You just buy that, you keep the one game, and
Yeah.
they just keep expounding upon it.
That's what Rainbow Six does.
Ah.
So they have year passes. So, like, you had your year 1 pass, which had, like, 4 operators and some new maps, I think. And then they've had a new pass to get the operators for cheaper, but they keep the maps so they don't split the player base. That's a big problem. Like, with an RPG as a games as service, that, like, especially a single player one, that's never going to work. Because you'll never keep up your player base. You'll never keep your player base.
The only way that works is if your RPG is somehow, which I don't see it. I don't know. I don't see it working for an RPG. But if you did it like a Telltale game series, if you did it like a season of a television show.
Right, but then you'd still get the people who get to the end of the game. You know, they don't. Let's use the example of The Witcher did that. Right? No. Let's just say The Witcher did that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Now, I would expect CD Projekt Red to have the entire game developed and just release it, you know, 1 episode every 2 weeks. Roughly.
2 weeks, maybe a little bit more, but yeah.
But I'd expect them to have the whole game done.
Yeah.
The problem is...
Or 80% or even fucking 60% done so that you can continue working. You don't release anything broken.
The problem is, especially for a single player game, the gaming market as a whole moves so fucking fast that by the time that next episode drops, you'll probably be onto something new.
Again, I'm against this for single player RPGs for sure. But what about an episodic structure where you release an episode a month? And you do kind of how Hitman did, where you release a fully polished first episode, and then for a few weeks, for the 3 weeks in which everybody waits for episode 2, you add in more content.
I mean, that'd be fine, but you
If
still...
we could do that consistently.
Yeah, you have to keep making interesting content.
Yeah.
Now, see, Battlefield's games as service model for BF5 is as follows. Basically, they're funding the entire games as service model based on microtransactions for cosmetics. Like, that's how they're funding it. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, because cosmetics don't affect gameplay. So whatever, I don't ever have to touch them if I don't want to.
I always felt like cosmetics should be microtransactions. Unless you have like a pack of a bunch of them for like, $5.
And for a multiplayer game like Battlefield, even though it's not like an always online kind of thing, like they're even doing games of service for their single player, so they're going through different theaters of war. Like they've already announced their next. I guess the other thing, the point I'm trying to make is you also have to tell your players what's coming. Like
Yeah.
you can't just. You can't do what Star Wars Battlefront did and basically wait 2 years to tell anything about what's coming. Like, it's like, oh yeah, new content's in the works. Okay, what is it? We're not telling you.
Or No Man's Sky, where they literally didn't even tell the people anything.
No Man's Sky is an even better example.
I mean,
They didn't tell
I know.
They didn't tell anybody a goddamn thing. They were working on it,
No.
but they never said, hey guys, we're working on a thing. So when the game launched, I can tell you, I played No Man's Sky Next. It's a better game now.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be able to go up to one of my friends who, was interested and then heard all the shit and go, no, it's good now. You should get it. Because they'll look at me and go, what's the point? There's better things out.
They were so shady about the way that they approached it, too. Like, okay, I know that gamers are fickle. When Jason Schreier did his job as a games journalist and reported that No Man's Sky was being delayed before it released,
He got death threats.
Yeah.
I think the gaming community just kind of hates Jason Schreier. I don't know why.
Fair. Well, have you ever heard him talk?
Yeah,
anyway,
that's
no,
fair.
I respect him so much as a journalist. I just mock him all the time for how he speaks. When they first started the Split Screen podcast, that microphone used to pick up every mouth sound, and that drove me nuts.
Implying we're any better.
Yeah, we are.
Oh. Well, that was positive.
If you make that lip smacking sound again, I'm going to drive to Pennsylvania and punch you in the jaw.
Now, imagine hearing that throughout a whole podcast as somebody speaks.
Oh. Oh, God. No.
It just sounds so wet. Anyway, whenever No Man's Sky launched and people were like, hey, I got to that same planet as my friend and we didn't even see each other. The developer should have come out and been like, look, game development is hard. We already delayed the game, but we know you guys are really pumped for it. So here's what we have, but if we're going to make any promise to you, it's that we are working on this game. We will deliver the game that we promised. It just may take a little more time. Bear with us. Making games is hard. And if they were just like open and honest and transparent about it, even if they had to say it in a fucking, PR approved way from Sony or whatever, I think it would have been fine. I know that gamers can be toxic, but I also think that the majority of us who are usually quiet, the majority of us would not have shit on that game. We all would have given it the benefit of the doubt if they came out and actually said something instead of having total radio silence until the first big update.
That and charging $60 for an alpha version.
Well, even charging the full price, it doesn't matter because the updates coming are free. In the end, you get the game that you wanted for the price that you paid and no more. And I don't know. I think that more developers and publishers should be like that. And what kills me with EA is I don't think EA, especially whenever Peter Moore joined, is he still even there? Anyway, I don't think that EA was evil. I mean, they were bad, but then they started to change their tune. Do you remember this? And they were like, when they announced Mass Effect Andromeda, the game was in they didn't even have an alpha build of it. They had concept art.
Yeah.
And EA was like, we're just being open and transparent. We want our fans to know, hey, we hear you and we're working on the games that you want. And so here is some pre-alpha footage of us testing parkour in Mirror's Edge 2. And here is some concept art of the next Mass Effect game that we're working on. And we'll even show you this concept art of a new Mako type vehicle, leading everybody to speculate that we're going to be able to drive on planets again. And they did all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, a couple years later, they're like, we think that we should hide everything from you and just try to milk what we can in our new roadmap as games as a service. And like, nah, EA, you had it. You should have stuck with it. I swear, they're sticking with this fucking games as service model, but they're losing more fucking money and credibility faster than whenever they did their little transparency thing, which they stopped doing because it wasn't as profitable.
Right,
But-
I agree.
But what's more important to them? Like, active vocal support or profit?
Okay, what's going to affect sales? Active vocal support?
But is it? Has it been?
It does. I know that there are
It
a lot of people
should.
out there. I know that there are a lot of people out there who will shit talk, certain business decisions as the worst thing in the world and still buy the new Battlefield whenever it drops out. Such the reason that they switched to innovation at the start of last generation, so we're talking over a decade ago, the reason that they switched their roadmap to innovation was because they were consistently rated the worst company in America. And then once they started getting I don't. There's probably so many worse.
Yeah.
I mean, Comcast exists, but then again, America's number one cell phone service is Verizon. So, I guess we as consumers don't care. But Boost Mobile, by the way, everybody. Anyway, but they switched to innovation. They got a couple good hits. They were finally the second worst company in America, and they switched to transparency. Then their sales start to slump a little bit because behind closed doors, they're still rushing these games and not giving them a chance. Forcing Mass Effect Andromeda to run on DICE's engine was stupid.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Not giving it the resources it needed, that was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Not giving the Star Wars Hennig Star Wars game the resources it needed, that was stupid. Amy Hennig just literally left one of the most beloved developers in the fucking world and came to work at EA, and you're gonna fuck her over?
Yeah.
And this has affected their bottom line. If it wasn't affecting their bottom line, they wouldn't be doing away with microtransactions in these games. The Battlefield thing wouldn't be still limited to cosmetics, like Sedge was saying. They would have never changed that Star Wars game. So like,
yeah, that's a good point. That one
doesn't matter.
is, yeah, that's the main evidence is Star Wars.
So yeah, it's been a pretty good chat today.
Yeah, I'd say so. So
All
that's
right.
probably a good place to call it for the day.
Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah. We're
Okay.
at, probably
We
be cut.
covered a broad enough topic that if you listen to this, I'm sure you've got opinions on something we said.
And
How do you
hope.
feel about present tense and fucking first person stories?
How do you feel about President Solidus Trump? Anyway,
But
thanks for listening, everybody.
Okay.
Hopefully this episode goes up soon. Potentially with last week's as well. Potentially, maybe. Probably not.
We'll see how useless we are.
Yes. Yeah, everybody plug your pluggables.
Chi, you go first. I assume you have the least.
Wow. That's hurtful. I'm wounded. He's correct. I have much of nothing. Join me on Tumblr, maybe.
How do we reach you on Tumblr?
Yinhart Yang? Yinhart Yang. My main. I also have a Twitter at Chikio1247.
You want to spell that?
No.
All right. Sedge, you want to go last or second? Probably last. Save the best for last. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking self-centered prick.
Oh my god, just speak.
Anyway, I check out. I hardly ever write there anymore, but it's still worth mentioning. Check out tay.kinja.com. That's Kotaku's little talk amongst yourselves sister site.
Mhm.
And check me out on Twitter at King Kegel, Kagle.
Cool, cool.
And you can find me at Twitter.
Big Lou's rolling on dubs, smoking. I'm sorry, guys.
On Twitter at Sedge_gaming. On YouTube, Sedge Gaming. Twitch, Lord Sedge. Yeah, that's all my pluggables. Until I potentially get a Patreon set up.
Where the gunplay rang all day. Nah. So, yeah, but we got to talk about, like, pretentious productions and all of that shit, so.
Yeah,
We'll get
but
there.
yeah,
We'll get
follow
there.
me on those places. Follow Kegel at his places. And follow Chi at her place.
Places.
But don't actually, like, come to our places.
Yeah, if you show up
Like,
at
we're
my
talking
house,
online.
I'm going to be very upset. Have a good night, everybody. Or day.
Peace.
Night, peace.
Let me tell you, we're going to build the best Metal Gears. They're going to be huge.
Shut up!
I'm so bad.
No!
The sound of an adult man dying inside.
I've killed the podcast, everybody. See you next week.